and what are they buying? And then do we see increases in jobs in those sectors? And that would tell us that the hospital's procurement is buying these services. And these are pretty obvious. I won't go through them all, with the exception of the one in the middle. And we saw that up to 31% of a private hospital's procurement dollars might be spent or would be spent on real estate buying, selling, leasing, and managing. I was like, well, okay, explain that. Well, it actually does make sense, and we have the right person here to tell me if I'm wrong. But taking City of Hope as an example, they just took over a whole new building on the campus where I am. They totally redid the building. They moved 300 people in there. They're operating that building. They didn't do that. They hired people that did that got that property, negotiated that deal, redid that building, moved their people in, and probably are managing it. They're in the healthcare business. They're not in real estate. And all of our hospitals are huge physical plants. And that's why we're seeing those types of dollars pushing the real estate industry here. I'm going to touch just for a minute on business to business, professional, scientific, and technical services, because it is a big sector here in Pasadena. I told you that it was the largest employment sector 10 years ago. That top line shows you it even grew larger, up to almost 94,000 employees, and then they got really walloped in the recession. Of those 55,000 jobs we lost, 13,000 were in this sector. And they started to grow again in 2012. It makes sense. When you're a business, you're going to lay off, you're not making money, you're going to probably not redesign your website, you're probably not going to redecorate your offices, you're probably going to cut back on advertising and maybe not do as much marketing, and you're going to certainly cut contracts before you lay off your employees, because you just know that when things get good, you're going to have to rehire and retrain then. So business services had some of the largest reductions in employment. They started to come back, and you can see there on the chart the types of businesses at the top of the chart that have been growing in business and professional services. And you can see the wages they pay. Again, really good types of jobs that pay above average wages here in our region. Manufacturing, 24,000 jobs we lost in the last decade, but that doesn't mean we don't have a couple of sweet spots. We've in the last about year and a half, 2 years, actually seen some job growth. And so we went back to look if there were subsectors in manufacturing that had been growing over the last decade. And this tells you, yes, there were. If you look down the chart, almost all of them are related to aerospace. And aerospace is growing throughout Southern California. Yay for the announcement yesterday about the new planes being built here. And every region contributes to that overall county aerospace, Southern California aerospace industry. The San Gabriel Valley is doing the parts manufacturing. So if you look at this, you see aerospace parts, you see resin, rubber, fibers, electrical components, all of them feeding into that aerospace industry. Two others just to touch on, you may wonder, leather products. We actually are one of the largest manufacturers in the state for leather products, and it's women's shoes and purses, all shoes, mostly women's, and handbags. Industry and Irwindale have a number of rather large facilities in that area. And the other food manufacturing, what's in there that is growing in our region is sauces. And we all learned about that with Hufang Foods and the sriracha sauce, but they're not the only ones. We have other sauces, many of them Asian sauces, that are dotted throughout the region, and they are pushing job growth as well. Two last types of jobs that I'll touch on, and we started with this. 24% of the wholesale trade industries in LA County are in the San Gabriel Valley. International trade does employ a higher number of people here. 6.5% of our jobs are related, as opposed to 5.3% in the county. The ports are really important to us, and when something happens there, we feel it. When we go out and talk to our businesses, what happened during the strike with people having to delay openings, millions of dollars spent on products that had to be stored places because they couldn't get them shipped. incredible impacts from that strike. 2005's been an okay year. Exports are up, but it is spotty, and we still have to watch that because the whole world economy plays into whether or not our ports continue their growth, and that's incredibly important to job growth in our region. And finally, I'm going to touch on tourism, which you might say to Cynthia, you already told us that you concentrate on good wage-paying jobs. Why are you talking tourism? Tourism doesn't tend to have good wage-paying jobs. They're often seasonal, unbenefited, part-time jobs. But what we like about the sector of tourism is it's people who come here and leave their money here. And so it does grow wealth in our region, even though that wealth isn't coming from the wages that the industry paid. Tourism is growing like crazy in Southern California. These are the 2014 numbers. Everything we've seen says the 2015 numbers are going to exceed that. We have people here that would know that. I see some head shaking. International tourism was up 5.6% over the prior year. You probably know hotel occupancy rates are way down as compared where they were during the recession, and room rate prices up, which at one point I think you were able to walk into hotels around the United States and tell them what you would pay them rather than them tell you what they would charge you. But all of that has changed dramatically. The market's responding. You see it here in Pasadena. You've got new hotels going up. There's 2 in El Monte, there's several in Rosemead, Duarte. The market is responding to what they're seeing here. Chinese tourists are drawn to the San Gabriel Valley. They haven't been staying here, and I'm hoping these new hotels help turn that around. But we are told by people that track this market closely, if you're a Chinese tourist and you come to Southern California, you will come to the San Gabriel Valley. You'll come to see the Huntington, you'll come to see family, you'll come to get some food you remember, you'll come here for the temple, you will come into our region, and they spend higher per capita on their trips than other tourists. They're about to overtake Canada as the second largest group. So some goods, some bads, but I don't think anything really ugly. The San Gabriel Valley is feeling much better about its place in the LA County region and continues to push on the sectors that we see are the ones that are going to bring wealth into our region. And I think Pasadena, more than any other city, has benefited from some of the economic trends that we're seeing post-recession. I've got to say the planning work and the city and the chamber and the work they do in Pasadena is certainly visible to all of us, and we thank you for being so diligent in what you do to make sure that the economy in Pasadena is thriving.
Eric serves as Economic Development Manager for the City of Pasadena. He leads a department within the City Manager's Office that's responsible for business outreach, retention, and recruitment. The department also manages the city's real estate portfolio, oversees filming and event permits, and a range of special projects. Mr. Deichard has been active in the creation of Pasadena Bioscience Collaborative and Innovate Pasadena, and he is a member of the Board of Directors of the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce. Eric?
Well, good afternoon. Give me one moment to just switch slides here. Okay, so I'm going to start this off with a quick, inspiring video.
Pasadena, a city of traditions that also thrives on the arts, science, and innovation, where world-class universities are preparing future visionaries and business leaders. A walkable community with an urban vibe, easy access to metro, shops, restaurants, and entertainment. We attract the best talents in engineering, education, design, health, and finance. We're in business to serve and support local business. Our economic development team uses concierge-style service for new business and relocations, with $1 new business license rates for many startups and one-day turnaround for renewals. Actively working with business leaders to chart a sustainable local economy with new housing, hotels, retail, and healthcare sites. We're eager to make sure your business thrives. Pasadena, vibrant, culturally diverse, innovative, and business friendly. Realize your potential in Pasadena.
Okay, great. So that's a clip that we try to use to encourage businesses to come into Pasadena and to make you happy that you are in Pasadena. So I'm going to go through a presentation that will give us a snapshot of some sales tax data, which may not be the perfect measure of how things are going, but at least we have the data on that. Some updates on some development projects, hotels, office, housing, and some institutional projects. So I'll get started with the sales tax data. Pasadena is in the purple above. I'm not sure if you can see the colors all that well on these large displays, but we're tracking California fairly well as far as growth. You can see the dip of the recession and the mini spikes associated with the holiday sales. Sales tax capture and leakage. This is a slide that shows in different categories how we do compared to how we should do for the population that we have. So furniture and appliances, recreational products, auto sales, we kind of perform above our weight. So 100% represents the kind of equilibrium of where we should be based on our population. Certain things like department stores, service stations, building materials, we are below. And some of those you'd kind of expect that, given the fact that we just don't have sometimes the land for that to accommodate more. So here is the distribution of sales tax. So we're fortunate that we have a nice distribution of categories. Some communities have a disproportionate amount of auto sales, others could be in a different category, but restaurants and auto sales are kind of the largest slices of the pie for Pasadena. Our largest sales tax producers in alphabetical order, to give you a sense of who is doing well and helping us with our general fund revenues here in Pasadena. So keep buying your Apple products and your luxury cars and your Tiffany presence here in Pasadena. We really appreciate it. Here's how we compare to some other cities. If you look at, now there's a green line that goes across the bars, with California being the average. Pasadena, as far as per capita sales, does fairly well. There's a few other cities that have a smaller population, like Santa Monica, Burbank, that you can see they outperform us on a per capita perspective. Okay, so now I'm going to go through some projects. These are a wide range of projects that have either been through our entitlement process for a while and are under construction, so you kind of get a sense of what that's going to look like. And also a few projects that have been submitted to the city it's going to take a while for them to kind of get through different hurdles and reviews, but I thought we'd give you kind of a nice kind of snapshot of these activities. So here's a project that is under construction at Fair Oaks and Walnut. It's a Marriott extended stay, and that is kind of topped out now, so you can see how big it's going to be. There are 144 rooms there, and that's just north of Parsons. The Macy's at the Paseo is currently getting demolished, and in its place there'll be a Hyatt Place hotel along with some condominiums. This is the rendering of the corner at Green and Los Robles that it will look like. They still have to go through a final design, but that is generally the look of it. On the old Ford dealership site near PCC, there's been a proposal in the works for several months. The EIR for that project is actually out on the street right now for review and comment. They've hired a local team, local architect. It's a handsome project, but it's a large hotel project that is being considered in the City Hall right now. Across from City Hall, Kimpton Hotel has been working with the city to develop a boutique hotel in conjunction with the rehabilitation of the historic YWCA building. So you can see how that general format would look across from City Hall and also the Marengo elevation of it. That currently is proposed for about 180 rooms. So from an office space standpoint, we have, I would say, a trend, and you probably are very aware of this, that office users don't need as much space anymore. We have some instances where people are adding employees but shrinking their office footprint. That has been a little bit of a challenge for some property owners, but overall there's good news. ADP just came into Pasadena with their innovation center. They're on Lake Avenue near Colorado. Alibaba, you've probably heard that in the news. Spokio is expanding. Bank of America consolidated on the Colorado. Bluebeam Software is expanding. OpenX is expanding. And then we've got these kind of very cool projects, one in East Pasadena and one that's going to occur in the Parsons block. But the world's largest telescopes are getting designed in Pasadena. One primarily sponsored by Caltech, the other primarily sponsored by Carnegie Observatories. They're hiring hundreds of engineers to kind of develop these projects. One is planned for Hawaii and the other one in Chile. And then the one other thing I wanted to mention is co-working space, which has been a trend here in Pasadena and other parts of the LA region. Co-working office space is basically a gym membership into some common office cubicles in some cases, just open tables, kind of lounge chairs. If you go to a Starbucks or a coffee shop near a college and you see everybody hanging out in their laptops, it's pretty much what this is, but people are buying into it at maybe a couple $100s a month. And that's their business address. They could walk in there with their laptop. And so we want to see this from the standpoint of trying to encourage startups in Pasadena, hoping that they grow in the future and rent some space in the future. But that is between Cross Campus, which is on Raymond, Blank Spaces, which is next to Earth Cafe, that's going to be under construction soon, and Epic Spaces that is functioning in the new Playhouse Plaza building across from the Playhouse Theater. Eisenberg offices, they are expanding as well. I'll try and flip through these faster. This is a new project that was finished. This is the rendering over at Colorado and El Molino. This is a medical building that's going up also in the Playhouse district. We'll add some new jobs there. And we've had some turnover in some office buildings. AT&T was recently purchased because AT&T didn't need all that space anymore. We have some new tenants going there. The old Avery headquarters has been renovated, and there's some offers for acquisition, and the Amaron building. The Duzit Hotel, you've seen that. That's the first phase. They're building out the retail and the expansion of the hotel right now. There is an office development proposed at Colorado and Lake that is also in the future. Parsons block was recently approved by the city for 475 units of housing on the Fair Oaks side, plus additional office that would ring the perimeter of the kind of campus along the west. Housing projects, I'll go through these quickly. This is across from Parsons. A lot of housing investment in our community. Demand for housing on the apartment side and condominiums. Here's on Foothill Boulevard near Light Rail. This is on the former Macy's site, some new condominiums. This is a larger project, still kind of early in the process, that is part of the Fuller Seminary campus, which would be directly east of the Kaiser Permanente headquarters. Multiple housing infill projects, you can see here. So brings in some new customers for you, some new vitality into our commercial districts. And again, we expect most of those to happen, but again, sometimes they fall through. Academic and institutional improvements. Shriners is under construction just south of Huntington Hospital. This is on the west side of Fair Oaks, again, just south of the primary hospital campus. This is outpatient, and they have an arrangement with Huntington for extended services that are needed for that medical community. This is focused on children's health care. Art Center, College of Design, particularly on the South Campus, will be pursuing an expansion of that kind of set of properties that they've acquired over time. I'll let Dr. Lauren Buckman go through those details as he's part of our panel today. And the Huntington Medical Research Institute, which is just to the east of Huntington Hospital. They've acquired some property over the course of some years, and they are in the final phases of getting their project construction management team in place and preparing this laboratory building that would consolidate 3 locations that they have in Pasadena right now. Okay, so that will conclude my presentation. So Carl Bird, thank you. So we had planned for Carl Bird to be the moderator of our panel. Carl, unfortunately, who is a senior member of the JPL, has got that southern charm. He's got a great accent. He was going to be very entertaining. But now you have me to do that. So I'm going to introduce and bring the panel up for the next phase of our luncheon. So as I maybe invite the panelists to come up, Julia Gao is going to be first. Julia Gao is President and Chief Operating Officer of East West Bank, a member of the board of East West Bank Corp. East West Bank is among the 30 largest publicly traded banks in the nation. So, Steve, Forbes ranked East West Bank as the top 15 among the 100 best banks in America. Julia Gao was named one of the top 25 most powerful women in banking, and has reached that honor five times. And she has also twice received the Los Angeles Business Journal's Women Making a Difference Award. Ms. Gao currently serves on the board of directors for Pacific Mutual Holding Company and Pacific Life Corp. She was appointed by the U.S. Secretary of Commerce to serve as a District Export Council member. Ms. Gao also serves as a board member of the Trusteeship, an affiliate organization of the International Women's Forum. Julia was also a member of our Economic Development Task Force a couple years ago, which helped the city and economic development staff prioritize some of our activities. So again, welcome Julia Gao. Next, I'd like to invite Lauren Buckman up to the stage. Dr. Lauren Buckman began his tenure as the 5th president of Art Center College of Design in October of 2009. Dr. Buckman's leadership, the college has made significant strides in the areas of campus expansion, endowment growth, and increased scholarship and financial aid for students. He is currently focused on the development of new academic facilities on campus, student housing, and is he's leading the capital campaign for the college. Prior to Art Center, Dr. Buckman served as the president of Saybrook University in San Francisco and as provost and then president of California College of Arts. A trained theater director and scholar, Dr. Buckman also held a number of faculty and administrative positions with the University of California at Berkeley. He is an author of a book on film adaptations of Shakespeare's plays. In addition to his work in higher education, Dr. Buckman is actively involved in community service and is currently a member of several nonprofit boards and is a regular speaker of events about arts and design. So welcome, Dr. Buckman. And finally, Randy Britt. Randy, if you could join us here. Randy Britt is the Director of Sustainability for Parsons and has been creating sustainability programs over the last 33 years. Prior to joining Parsons, he was the Director of Sustainability for LA Unified School District, implementing programs in energy and water efficiency, indoor air quality, renewable energy. And Randy was Vice President of Engineering and Energy with the May Company for several years and helped establish the California Independent Systems Operator and serves on its governing board. He currently is working on energy efficiency, LEED certification, renewable energy, and resilience programs for municipal agencies, private sector businesses throughout the United States, Middle East, and here in Los Angeles. So, welcome. All right, so I get to sit now. So, an engineer, a banker, and an artist walk into a bar. I won't dare go with the punchline. So, but we're fortunate here in Pasadena to have significant strengths in engineering and in finance, and our academic institutions are often second to none. So we are looking forward to a kind of an engaging conversation about some key topics that I think you might share as far as things that you have to deal with and other things that might be very different. So we are going to start a panel conversation. We'll have a few questions on our own, but there are some cards, or there should be cards on your tables. If you have questions you want to ask, write a question down. We'll have someone pick that up and try and cover a few of those at the end of the panel discussion. So I'll start with East West Bank. East West Bank has assets of over $30 billion and has over 130 branch locations in the United States and Greater China. East West Bank will be soon, is or will be soon, the largest bank headquartered in Southern California. And we're very happy to say that their headquarters is just one block to the west here on Las Robles. So, Julia, tell us how the banking business is, and give us some insights on what your future initiatives will be here in Pasadena and throughout your endeavors.
Thank you, Eric. We moved to Pasadena about 10 years ago because we outgrew our corporate offices in San Marino. And I have to tell you that we feel very, very welcome by Eric, that approached us and, asked what, the city can do to help us relocate it to Pasadena. And, we have been here since then. So for the last 5 years, as you know, there has been tremendous increase in the trade and investments between U.S. and China. And East West Bank, our mission, vision, and our focus has been to be the financial bridge between East and West, between U.S. and China. And East West is one of only 3 U.S. banks that have banking license in China, and that's Citibank, JP Morgan, and East West Bank. Given the tremendous interest, of the Chinese companies to come do business here, as well as U.S. companies to go to China, we actually, our initiatives in the last few years have been to develop industry expertise, where there are a lot of trade and investments, from China to U.S., as well as businesses from U.S. to China. And that included entertainment, technology, life science, private equity, aviation, agriculture, and recently we set up, to have an energy lending team to help us, because these are the industries where Chinese companies are very interested in investing in the United States. And, as a result of our industry expertise and ability to help these Chinese companies to come here, if you see for the last few years, our growth has been above our peer.
Great, thank you very much. So we'll go now to Parsons. We have, again, we've got these tremendous engineering firms in Pasadena, but Parsons in particular has been a kind of a landmark engineering firm here in our community. They're involved with the design, engineering, construction of very big projects throughout the globe, municipal water systems, airports, rail transit, even dealing with cyber risks for big companies and for different governments. 15,000 plus employees, annual revenues always near around $3 billion. And it's 100% owned by its employee stock ownership trust, which is a slightly different format, which is nice. We have heard over the years about sustainability, and people have different ideas about what that is. But today we have an expert here to talk about how that is incorporated into different projects. And we have Randy Britt again, who can kind of go through his expertise on not just sustainability, but resilience. Randy.
Thank you, Eric. So yes, sustainability at Parsons is described as a core value. And what that means is it's embedded into our culture so that everything we do has to have sustainable elements to it, more than just recycling paper and batteries and that sort of thing, but real meat and potatoes of what sustainability should be. And in our world then, what I used that core value to do was to create a launching platform to create a practice and launch a practice that would generate renewable energy projects, develop those on behalf of our clients, energy efficiency, and of course water efficiency, which is critical right now. And all of those things are key towards improving our environment and sustaining our environment long term. So resilience has emerged over the last year or two as then a part of sustainability because it's related to, in many people's minds, to the climate change adaptation that is required to be able to become more resilient and more sustainable in the long term. So that's become a part of my practice as well. And so we're developing a practice around that as well to be able to assess the resilience of our clients' infrastructure, their systems, and to be able to help them do things to mitigate what may happen in the next catastrophic event. And so resilience is getting bandied about a lot. It's talked about certainly a lot on the East Coast in terms of reactions to Superstorm Sandy, ocean level rise in certain areas, land subsidence and erosion in coastal cities. But in Pasadena,